Hey, hey, hey. Time for another Out of This World story from rSpace. Is it petty to get my ex and her affair partner fired? I feel like I already know the answer to this. Yes, it is petty. I set a clear boundary. I asked them not to tell me if they'd begun sleeping together. It was only emotional before. We live in a very small town, and they both work at the local restaurant. I told her that if it was something that was told to me before I was able to move on, I'd take moves to get her fired. She is a manager, he is a bartender. They have a signed contract that states relationships of that sort are forbidden in the workplace, under their company policy. I also specifically told her affair partner I would take this action. I am so close to sending the email letting her upper management know that she is fraternizing with an employee, not only due to unfair workplace treatment, but also because I want to ruin her life. Edit. I gave her the option of resigning so that her reputation wouldn't be tarnished. She ignored it. Update. Sent the email, waiting to find out what happens. Our first reaction comes from Bored in the House 0. My ex sent me the sex tapes of her cheating on me with multiple people. I sent them to her mom. It's still the best thing I ever did to stand up for myself, after years of being tormented. F the fear of being petty. Do it. Next comment comes from Restless Legs 21. Who cares if it's petty? Just know that some places won't care. I contacted HR about my husband screwing multiple coworkers, and they couldn't care less. I wanted them all fired. Last comment for this story coming from Nona Organic. What's petty? You made threats, and when you make threats or ultimatums, you better be prepared to follow through and be a person of your word. Otherwise, you'll forever be known as a chump and no one can respect you. Moving on. She cheated on me twice, and I miss my cheating ex and her family, but I know I shouldn't. So we started with the relationship in May of 2017. I had gut feelings 2 months into the relationship that she didn't seem like she was entirely into the relationship. I had suspicions from how private she told me she was about introducing people to her family and how secretive she was with her phone. She never shared any pics of us on her Instagram account, and took so long for her to finally share pics of us on her Facebook say we were official. I dang near had to beg for her to show us off. But after a Thanksgiving event with her family while she was cooking, I saw her phone keep going off. She always kept it on silent. I check it because in the beginning of the relationship, we agreed to sharing passcodes. Remember that part. I see someone texting her via Snap. I check, and it's some guy asking how her day is going and he misses her. I asked her who it was, and she said, "Just a friend." I tucked the convo away for later. A couple of days after the event, she's sleeping over at my place, and early in the AM, her phone goes off. Light on the phone. I look at it, and it's the same guy. I open the phone to see it's the friend. I open her phone via her passcode. I see they've been talking for many months. They sparingly talk throughout every day. He slips in some sexual talk about how he misses her body, asks about her, and it also says how he wants to see her again after seeing her recently, apparently. I took screenshots of their conversations, and then I woke her up and confronted her. She immediately gets defensive and is mad about how I went into her phone and invaded her privacy. I tell her I can't invade someone's privacy when she gave me her passcode. I ask her who he is and how I've had suspicions from how she's been acting. She kept denying about who he was, calling him just a friend, until I told her to stop effing lying. She tells me that they used to date and had sex, but it didn't work out. She tells me she only talked with him of all people because I worked nights and she had nobody to talk to, and he isn't always sexual. So you choose him? So I never told her about the screenshots because I wanted to show her family, but didn't. But flipped shit on her about lying to me and talking to an old friend that she used to lay with. I reminded her how in the beginning of the relationship, we agreed to not talk to anybody we used to like or be with, currently talking to or wanted to talk or be with. I told her how she's messed up big and it won't be easy to fix things. After that trust was destroyed, obviously, and I told her what she had to do to rebuild my trust in her, aka show me her phone from time to time, make me feel like I'm wanted and appreciated, which she complained about showing her phone. Fast forward the years of more ups than downs. I think things are getting better, but only because we swept things under the rug. I struggle with the fact that she still hasn't done what I asked to help me build trust in her. She constantly changed her passcode and even said at one point, "What's the point of looking in my phone because I can just change the name in my phone and nobody would know." She would also say things like that she's never dated anyone under 5'11". I'm all of 5'6" and she's 5'3", and just making me feel insecure. I had many signs to just leave from her emotionally cheating, lying, being deceitful, etc. Things started spiraling, and she went out to a bar on a weekend after I brought up the same issue of wanting her to help me build trust in her, since she thinks just telling me that her guy friends are just friends and I should trust her, not realizing that her words are not enough anymore. Fast forward a couple days, and she texts me that she has something to tell me. She texts me that she kissed someone else recently. She apparently went to a bar and danced and kissed some guy. She shoved him away when she realized it wasn't me. Again, under the lie most likely. I blow her phone up trying to get her to answer, and she has the nerve to text me that she's on a call. Who the hell else is more important to talk with than me? I text her mom that she's cheated on me since she lived with her parents still. I sent her the screenshot I took of her daughter telling me she cheated at the bar. My ex gets mad that I'm telling her family what she's done wrong, but she felt okay to tell her mom and sis about when we had arguments sharing our business. She finally picks up a video call, and I tell her to start talking. She says how she felt lonely even though I saw her mostly every weekend, sent flowers to her job randomly, buy her lunch and drive an hour to eat with her, etc. So she's not lonely. She has the pitiful look on her face while I chew her out. I asked why would she do all of this knowing I have trust issues and we have a long distance relationship. Why do such a thing? My thoughts were that she didn't care and wanted to get rid of me. She only texted me for my birthday but took me out to dinner. She said she thought it would help things. I opted for couples therapy. I read tons of articles and books on relationships. I even offered to bring them and read together and do the work they talked about together. She still declined. She said she read articles but never showed them to me when I asked, so most likely another lie. I started researching therapists and landed on one down by her area. I paid for us to go, and she only showed to 3 sessions, and was from the therapist's words, she was cold and argumentative, didn't want to talk about herself but was willing to point out your shortcomings. She never came back saying she was angry at the sessions. She left 2020 after we shared Christmas with our families, because I was still holding out for love. I also found out she went back to talking to the same guy I caught her texting years earlier. Guess I was weak because she left January 3rd by text. Fast forward a couple of months and sparingly texting because we both were hard to let go of the relationship. I stopped talking to her for a couple of weeks and I finally break and ask how she's been. She says she's getting her own spot and moving the next day. My ass, still loving her, said I could help her move. I show up the next day and her family is super happy to see me. I should have put her on the spot then and tell her family about her cheating even though her mom knows already and doesn't bring it up too much because it bothers my daughter and I don't want her mad at me. But you won't hold her accountable for her actions. I help her move and even go shopping with her for stuff in her new apartment. I try to talk a bit, hoping we can have a clear heart-to-heart sit-down. Nothing. But we talk as if nothing's changed between us. All her running around for days, getting her apartment in order with little sleep. I go even further out of my way and make a list of groceries and buy her food and wine to fill her fridge. I want to sit and talk with her about all we've been through, but I let her sleep. The next month, she tells me in a long text about how we should move on and how it's better for us. Oh, she never apologized for anything. The one time she did was in her last text saying, I know I made some mistakes. That was it. The only time in 2.8 years she's ever apologized. Says she had long to think about all we've been through, when in actuality, I already knew about her new guy she was talking to long before she put it on Facebook, and back when I was helping her move, I knew she was talking to someone. I'm sorry for this super long rant. It still hurts knowing I did all of this and loved her deeply. Our families were great together and loved each of us. We were a power couple on their eyes. Best friends. The first young woman I really wanted to marry. We talked about baby names, wedding ideas, future vacations, etc. Crazy how you can blame me for calling you out on your BS and trying to hold you accountable, but you go and tell people I'm insecure or controlling. I was a cop, so she would say that me questioning her was like an interrogation. Well, yeah, I'm gonna question you if you've lied, cheated, been very secretive, and deceitful. I wanted the one who said she loved me to actually mean it and work at being sincere and fixing her mistakes. I know my shortcomings and I apologize for the role I played to her and the therapists, but I know I tried to fix things. Her mother and brother-in-law are the only ones that saw the screenshots and know the truth. Like I said, I'm sorry for the rant. She moved on rather quick and just makes me feel like she never loved me and it was all an act. Because her family loved me. I just miss her and her family. Everything felt so right. Not the downsides, obviously. Again, sorry. Am I wrong to feel this way? Our one reaction comes from Vicious Poa. I'm sorry, but you are definitely better without her. That's what happens when you keep ignoring red flags. The end of the story could not have been changed. The OP replies, You're right. I should have left when she first cheated and shared all the screenshots of her infidelity to her fam on my way out. But now, I've barely dated and honestly have major trust issues, insecurities, and low self-esteem from it all. I can't bounce back into dates and relationships like she did. I put my all into relationships, and even years later, this still hurts a lot. On to the next story. I am the bad guy for catching my wife cheating. Day 1. Wife gets mad I don't appreciate her. Runs away crying. Doesn't talk. Silent treatment activated. Day 2. Wife seems to be over it. Nope. Happens again. Tell her she needs to talk to me. I make effort to say thank you and let her know I am thankful for what she does. Day 3. Happy day. Wife seems cheerful and normal. Wife sits in hot tub. I notice she is looking at YouTube videos about how to get a man, a specific astrology sign, and texting someone. Day 3. Again. I confront her. She denies it. Says all girls do that. Asked to look at phone. Denied. And stonewalled. Day 4. Silent treatment. Day 6. Tried to talk to her. More silent treatment. She is now sleeping in the other room. Day 7. Going out with friends. Day 8. She says maybe midlife crisis when I attempt to talk to her. More silent treatment. Day 9. Going to nurse party. Out all night. Doesn't respond to texts. Day 12. Still in silent treatment. Still denies any other guy. Day 13. I get mad. Told her this is abusive. Agrees to counseling. Day 16. Still refuses to talk. No counseling attempts. Day 17. Going out with friends again. I follow her. Find out where she went. Day 19. Goes out again. Different name, but same location? Day 23. Tried talking to her. Says she is going to move out. Denies any other guy. Goes out yet again. All night. Same location. Day 24. Asked where she was. And was nice and asked where her friend lived. She says entirely different location than where I followed her. Told her I know where she was. She admits there's another guy. Been a couple weeks. Still getting silent treatment, but did say I can't make her happy. Is that my job? She is slowly moving out, but every day it is like I did her wrong, and I made her cheat and lie. Exhausting. Edit. We are in Canada, so no fault divorce. No longer chasing after the confirmation of cheating, more just a rant to understand the rationale of reversing the victim. I did move most of the stuff to the garage. Clothes she is doing herself, while giving me the stink eye. She is on the title, so doesn't have to move. But since she is a nurse and works overnight, told her I am not going to be a nice guy anymore and be quiet during the day. So she is leaving. Yay! But wow, not even a bit of remorse. Went from amazing, loving woman to cheating, grumpy troll. The troll is probably the real self. Our first comment comes from Self-Inflicted. Day 25, file for divorce. That should be your next move. Terser78 chimes in. Pack her stuff up and help speed up the process. Return her silent treatment. Start talking to divorce lawyers and serve her before she does you. Our last comment comes from Poopsie Daisy. Stop it. Just stop. She's already ended the relationship with you. You don't need her to confirm or deny anything. She doesn't want to be with you, so any other conversation is unnecessary. From now on, stonewall her. Only speak about logistics. Only discuss separation of assets through lawyers. I know that you really want an explanation, and you want to see some remorse. But I'm sorry to say you're not going to get that. Not now, anyway. Now while she's still in the affair fog. I can explain exactly what is happening because it happened to me. She already made up her mind, and you are an uncomfortable roadblock. She can't talk to you about it and even has a hard time acknowledging your existence because doing so shatters the fantasy of the perfect romance she has going on in her head. She has to make you the bad guy because that's the only way she can justify it to herself. She can't be the bad guy and enjoy her new love guilt-free. I'm telling you the best thing you can do for yourself right now is separate and go no contact. Maybe she will snap out of it when divorce papers are filed and the affair fog lifts. Maybe you might be able to salvage the relationship later if you give her the freedom to go now. Or, preferably, by the time she changes her mind, you'll have had enough time and distance to see her for what she is.